This is Ron Klopfanstein. Meet me in the hot seat every Monday at 5 p.m. for Hot Seat Media Mondays on 95.5 FM, The Heat.
Hey, what's up? Baby, let's go.
Broadcasting from Big B Studios, your station for classic hip-hop, R&B, and much, much more. You are listening to WDSP 1550 AM, W238CA, 95.5 FM, Utica, New York, The Heat.
This is Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday. Hey everyone, I'm Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday. We want to welcome everyone streaming the video on Facebook Live, our audio streaming audience at 955theheat.com, and those of you who are listening on 95.5 FM The Heat. Tonight, we're hanging out with Ravin Wormwood. She's a publisher of their fashion zine Overzealous, and musical guest Rabbi Stephen Guiley from the Upper Room. We're also going to tell you about the Humane Society of Rome's exciting plans for 2026. But first, our friends at the Mohawk Valley Latino Association celebrated Three Kings Day with a community event this past weekend. Photojournalist and AI content producer Jim Hale and I were there, and we have this report. I'm Ron Klopfanstein at the Thinkubator in Utica, where the Mohawk Valley Latino Association is celebrating Three Kings Day.
Well, today we're celebrating the 4th annual Three Kings Day, where many Latino countries celebrate the gifts that were given by the three kings to baby Jesus. We celebrate by reading the story of the three kings to our children, bilingual. We always have the reading of this, of the birth of Jesus and the meaning of the gifts. So they don't forget one of our most beloved traditions of our culture.
Some new friends here at Three Kings Day. You got some really great gifts. So why don't you tell me, what did you guys get?
Mickey Mouse.
How about you?
A scooter.
A scooter? Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. How about you?
Things for princesses and for nails and so
I like that.
toys I can make like bracelets.
So do you guys think it's fun to still be having Christmas time in January? Have it go on and on like this? Isn't this pretty great? You've been involved in Three Kings Day. Does your family celebrate it every year?
This is our third event that we do. I'm Sonia Marte. I'm one of the board members for NBLA.
Right.
And I am being very involved with the event. The event is just to bring our kids that are born and raised in the United States, the culture from back home, so they can learn the story. That's why we read the story. We bring the three kings, because back home in the islands, they do celebrate that in the street, where all the family, neighbors come together. Just like we just did food, we bring a little gift for the kids, and we just want to bring that back, because not every household is able to have Christmas, and then Three Kings, so we want to just have that little united for the community, and that was all about.
What was the Three Kings story? They were the three wise men that came to see Jesus when he was born, and they arrived after the Nativity.
Correct.
So that's why this is celebrated after the 25th.
Yes.
So
it's January 6th. That's when the Three Kings is to get celebrated.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when they read the story, they tell the kids what it's all about and stuff and celebrate.
And it's impressive, but they do remember.
Yeah.
They do remember, because I tell you that many times my kids go back home and they just revisit the story, and it's great to see the kids how they just they learn the story.
And maybe they'll pass it on to their kids too.
Of course, and that's what it's all about, to never let that culture die. Keep it alive.
Ben, you were one of the Three Kings today. So what did you do? What did you do in the festival? What role do the Three Kings play in this festival?
They help them teach about their family traditions from the past. The Christmas is it's a little different than Christmas. So some they carry on with them for their families, and show the kids how we help people with grace.
I'm from Puerto Rico.
Oh, cool.
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So throughout my whole life, that's our tradition. And fun fact, Puerto Rico, we have the longest Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Longest holidays.
How long?
We are still
You're still having
celebrating.
Christmas now.
Right now, they're celebrating las calles de la fiesta de San Sebastián.
What's that?
The celebration is it's a saint.
Yeah.
They celebrate that for the whole week, and then after that we call it las octavitas, which means that 8 days after that the celebration continues.
Wow.
And then you can take your Christmas tree down. Yes.
I like that. Well, we need more celebrations here in the United States. So I'm glad you brought some of these things here. That's really great. The Mohawk Valley Latino Association offers services and events to the community throughout the year. You'll find more information on Facebook and at mblautica.org. At the Think Incubator in Utica, I'm Ron Klopfanstein for 95.5 FM, The Heat. You can stream that story right now on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and my other social media accounts. I'll have tonight's episode of Hot Scene Media Monday on 95.5 FM, online Wednesday at 9 o'clock at uticaphoenix.net/Media Monday. Ravin Wormwood is a publisher of Overzealous. It's a fashion zine, and in the zine she writes, clothing is a necessity, a signifier for culture and artistic expression, and it does not have to be boring. Her zine proves that. Ravin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So I was lucky because I grew up in the 90s, it was age of magazines, which actually are my favorite form of textual media, is a magazine. The 90s were the age of magazines. There are so many great magazines. I used to read like one a day, but even better, people made their own called zines. I would make them. I would cut stuff out of other magazines. I would put the things together, do it with a Xerox. Incredible. So I love that you're doing it now here in 2026. Tell me about your zine.
So it's kind of not restricted. I don't like to keep it as one theme. Every issue focuses on a different theme. It was kind of my way to express things that I was interested in, but keep it tied to things that were pertinent and that I wanted to spread information about to make people more aware of. Mm-hmm. So that's actually the only fashion themed zine that I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like each zine has a different theme? Mm-hmm. Oh, so this is a fashion one.
Yes.
This is issue 4 addressed to kill, what is it? Kill, thrill, and fulfill. We have kill crossed out, thrill crossed out, and then fulfill is still there. How does fashion fulfill you?
You kind of got it right at the beginning. It's a part of culture. It's very necessary. We need it to protect us from the elements in a very literal sense, but also it's something that every culture throughout all of time has needed and tailored to mark their culture and how they experience life in their environment, and it still becomes that today. And unfortunately, it's also become a big source of waste, source of waste and controversy and all those things. But I try to keep it something very fulfilling.
Yeah. How would you describe what you're wearing? Like for our radio audience who can't see you, you're dressed amazing.
Thank you.
Your eyeshadow is incredible. Like, what is your look for those who can't see this?
Eclectic.
That's a good, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to limit myself to one thing, so I get inspiration from a lot of different areas. I also get inspiration from art and paintings, which is, I'm primarily a painter, that's what I do. So it's not just fashion that inspires my fashion, but pretty much anything that catches my interest. So.
And color too, I would imagine.
Yes,
both
of course.
As an artist and with fashion too. And like one of the articles in here that really caught my it really made me think. You talk about, would a little color kill you? And then in this you say the death of color can be attributed to many things, but just like other situations in which we're divorced from our nature, the main two culprits are capitalism and white supremacy. But that was so interesting. Mm-hmm. So why would you say that like that has led to the death of color?
So color in every culture throughout all of time has represented a variety of things, and I think it's really interesting because colors across the world represent the same things more often than not. There are of course differences cross-culturally, and throughout time. But usually, for example, red is associated with passion and fire and anger and all these high
Sometimes
vibrational
power,
energy.
too, I would
Yes,
think, yeah.
absolutely. And sorry, what was the question?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because color does color does mean a lot. Like on the next page, it says dressed intentionally. You talk about what the different colors mean, and it really got my attention because when I read the first article about color, I was realizing that my wardrobe, like in the past year and a half, past 2 years, has dropped a lot of color, gone really to black, and I wondered like why that is. But I was reading what black symbolizes in your zine here, and it says black is the color of protection, boundaries, ending, rebirth, and sacred connections. And I was thinking like those first two things, there's really nothing, I think, for a lot of us living in 2026, particularly if you're a minority. I think we all crave boundaries and protection right now. So I think a lot of people, maybe that's why I've gone to black. Have you noticed like your color palette and like colors you use or colors you wear have changed over time because of like current events or because the culture has changed around you?
Absolutely. I've always been attracted to the color black as a diehard goth. I know I don't look like it today, but especially when I was younger, I was very attracted to the color black. But as I got older, I realized that I was just kind of silencing my attraction to other colors because I wanted everything I had to be black. And I don't regret that because it was an intentional choice, but now I really miss seeing color, and I miss seeing color just casually. Different stores are all beige. All advertisements are beige.
A lot of men's clothes, like in men's clothing stores, and I really do enjoy going to shop. I like to go to H&M and Macy's and TJ Maxx, and it really is like all black now in dark blue. This is the most colorful thing that I have. It's from Hauser. It's like a light blue shirt, but like this is the only colorful thing that I have that's not black or a little bit of white. Right now, and it really I think says a lot. And I think another thing too is like you talk in your zine about the difference between body neutrality as an alternative body positivity. I think for me, like in my life, I always tended towards black because I honestly felt like most of my life I was too fat to wear colors. And now that I've lost like 70 pounds in the past few years and stuff, I'm still back with black. And it's funny, like if I put on a shirt that's like with a color, I feel like I look fat. And I wonder, like, is that a common feeling? Is that maybe part of what drives people to like darker colors?
That's definitely part of it. We're socialized to...
I would like to get over that. I mean, I know that's not a good way to think, but I realize that is what goes through my head.
Yeah, we're taught to believe that black is a slimming color and that it's universally flattering, which is debatable, but it's also part of, I think I talked about this a little bit in the zine, it's part of capitalism. If you could convince everybody that one color will objectively make you look better, it's easier to sell. So that's why neutrals and black have been on the rise, and because you limit your consumer base if you make it a very loud color.
True. I think it's interesting too, like how many people like approach fashion in their life probably based on some amount of trauma that they experienced because of how they looked and how they're treated because of how they looked, including me. I've lost a lot of weight now, and like I still look at pictures of myself, the videos that I make at times, and think, oh my gosh, I look so fat. And it's like I had to tell myself I'm not fat at all, but it's like I think we're so poised to think that we're not okay. Is that part of capitalism, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. All of it is an effort to control and an effort to sell. So if you could make somebody think that there's a product that can make them skinnier and therefore make them feel better, then you have the control over their wallet. So it's all an effort to drive up profits. And that's a big part of body neutrality is it's teaching you that you don't have to look good per se, or that you don't have to look beautiful, but accept your body for what it is. Obviously, if you want to be healthier, then you could aim for that and work towards that. But the goal is to accept your body and what you look like, because everybody has a body.
How would you distinguish body neutrality from body positivity, which I think we're more familiar with? Kind of like I always interpreted body positivity as like accepting the way that I looked, and at times I was overweight, and not like trying not to feel bad about that. I think of that as body positivity. So what is body neutrality?
So as opposed to body positivity teaches us that there are ways to make every kind of body to look good.
Mm-hmm.
Body neutrality teaches us it doesn't matter what our body looks like, it's the vessel that we come into this earth and leave it with. So your value does not ride on whether or not you look good, is what neutrality teaches us.
Oh, I see. Right, which is actually probably a healthier thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, how did you break out of the cycle of like capitalism and like being told like to wear like certain, to wear black and to wear like, name brand stuff? And how do you like feel? What gave you the courage to like express your own look?
It really came to the point where I didn't want to dress for other people, and I've never really went back. I love dressing for myself. I think everyone wants to dress for themselves.
They do,
Yeah.
and I can honestly say that I do that now.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me a long time, and it took me till I was 56, which I think is kind of like says a lot. So good for you that at your younger age you are expressing yourself. Did it take courage to do that at first?
For a lot of people it does. For myself
for
it
you?
didn't. It didn't. No, because I've as the title of the zine implies, I've always been a little bit too much, a little over the top. So it felt very
good.
natural.
Yeah. What do you tell the people who like want to try to like dress individually but are afraid to?
Everyone dies. Everyone dies one day. So
right.
Yeah.
When you're on your deathbed, you want to know that you gave a shot to whatever that you were yourself.
And that also goes with having things that you save for quote unquote special occasions. It's
right.
You could drop dead tomorrow.
Just
do
wear
it today.
Yeah,
wear special
right.
things today.
Exactly. It's like so many times we have a nice thing like in our closet that either doesn't fit us and we like feel bad about it for years and we throw it out, or like we have something we want to wear but we don't wear it because it's too nice and we should just wear it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good for you. Well, we're going to hear more about your zine when we come back. We're talking today with Ravin Wormwood. She's a publisher of Overzealous. It's a zine that covers a lot of different topics. We're going to hear all about them. When we come back, we'll be joined by musical guest Rabbi Stephen Guiley from the Upper Room. We'll also tell you about the Humane Society of Rome's exciting plans for 2026. I'm Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday on 95.5 FM, The Heat. I'll have more after the break. This is Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday. Hey everyone, welcome back to the hot seat on this Media Monday. We're hanging out today with Ravin Wormwood from the zine Overzealous. We're joined now by Rabbi Stephen Guiley. He's a musician from the Upper Room. Welcome to the show.
So good to be with you, Ron.
So first thing, what is this Upper Room?
What has ended up happening is there are various scenes of musicians through the area.
I know, I'm finding out with the show. It's really cool.
And Utica is an unusual place, okay? And I might actually chalk it up to the weather.
Okay.
But there's seasons where, unless you're out on a snowmobile, you're inside.
You're stuck inside.
And so we have had people who've come out of the area like Joe Bonamassa and other really talented musicians. Often they were drummers and bass players and guitarists who were in major bands and major groups. But the upstate New York area has a real history of really excellent musicians.
It does.
I moved from Los Angeles, where I had been a recording engineer in LA.
Wow.
And so I had worked in Paramount Pictures recording studio. And so that was a place where a lot of the Motown West was recorded. That is a place where my boss was the brother of a famous actor.
Who was that?
My boss was Brian Bruderlin.
Okay.
But his family name was Bruderlin, but his brother changed his name to Brolin.
Oh my God.
Okay, so if you are from the era where Hotel was on television.
Yes, I am.
Josh Brolin was his brother.
Barbra Streisand's husband.
And furthermore, if you're from today, Thanos
Oh, okay.
is his nephew.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So anyway, I ended up working for Brian, and I ended up working in some other recording studios, and I worked in a studio for a guy who had produced Bob Dylan, Bette Midler, and Bruce Springsteen. I had ended up also working for a guy who had introduced rock and roll to Los Angeles in the 1950s when it was illegal to have dances in Los Angeles counties. So they were right on the outside of Los Angeles counties having sock hops. And my guy had bought a whole bunch of orphaned masters of recordings, and his company put some classic rock music into a little film called Stand By Me.
Wow.
Okay, and so I was involved with taking LPs or records and turning them into CDs in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
So this was some of my background and some of the stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
I had a great time there.
Yeah.
I ended up really getting to a point where it felt like there was a transition that I needed to make. And so I ended up going to seminary and got a master's in theology.
Wow.
And then moved to upstate New York, spent a bit of time in Syracuse, spent a bit of time in Rome, and settled in Utica in '95. And one of the things that I found was a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, a lot of people like that, they chafe up against the church a little bit, okay? It's not a really comfortable hang for artists with Christians, and honestly Christians with artists, okay? And so we had this kind of thing that was going on, and over a period of time, the guy who had worked in recording studios with musicians, and the guy whose mom was a commercial artist who went to Pratt Institute in the 50s, and the guy whose dad was an amateur musician, just loved music, okay? Me necessarily. I ended up finding that the technology, that the music and stuff like this, I ended up finding some of the people who were super cool in the area. And so as a result of this, I ended up taking, you see, what happens with the Bible is a lot of people treat it like it's really old, antique, dusty stuff. And one of the things that I found is if you take the actual lyrics of the prophets and of the Psalms and some of the rest of this stuff, and if you end up working that into songs, it gives people an opportunity to see it with new eyes. Kind of like Ravin is trying to help people see color and fashion with new eyes, okay? So what she's doing with color and fashion and zines, I'm kind of doing with recordings.
Thank you.
Very good. Sorry about that.
It's always good to bring that up, so I'm glad that, I like to bring that stuff.
But anyway, so over a period of time, I've made friends, and I've gotten a chance to hang with some people, and we've got a couple of recordings I want to share.
So is this recording you want to play first? Is this like where you took some text from the Bible? And
yes.
Oh my! So describe their parts a little bit. Then
okay. So what the chorus on this is from the Psalms in the 130s, and then the verses are from Psalms 1 and 2. So you kind of take and you put it together. And one of the things for me is I was always a type A personality who really pushes. Okay. And I found a lyric that spoke to me, which is, unless the Lord builds the house, those who work on it work in vain. Okay. And so I needed the reminder myself. So this song I've taken from 3 different psalms and kind of put it together. And the music, if you're expecting something that has church organs and choirs, I'm going to terribly disappoint you, okay? And I will let you know that I'm the bass player, okay?
Wow.
And anybody who hears my voice will know that I'm the vocalist and the writer, okay? So that's what I do. But I've got some great people here in town. One of them is there's a guy, Lenny Milano Jr., who I don't know if you guys know or not.
Is he on the recording?
He is on this first recording.
Okay. Who else should we identify in the recording?
And so what ended up happening, there's a married couple from Connecticut who came up and helped me do this. And the first 2 days, the drummer who we'd contracted with to do it wasn't there, okay? The third day Lenny had been contracted to do it. He came in and he knocked it out of the park, okay? And after the basic tracks were recorded, I brought them to Bob Acquaviva, who's a really well-known record producer in the area. And he's just so skilled and he's so wonderful to work with, okay? And so you're hearing the work of these different musicians, okay? So the keyboardist went to conservatory at Yale, okay? And she also spent time studying piano in Germany, okay? And her husband, kind of, if I was to describe his guitar playing, I'd say it's a little bit like David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. Okay, so that's kind of his thing. And then we had some other people who were on it.
We gotta
and
hear
so,
this song.
you know, so I want you to hear it and enjoy
the title though, because I didn't get to practice it, and with my stuttering, I don't think I can say this.
Adonai builds the house.
Adonai builds the house.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a listen to that song.
If Adonai builds a house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. Blessed is the man who walks upright, avoids wicked counsel, scoffers at night. His face is turned to God's word. If Adonai builds a house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. The wicked are like dust in the wind, unable to stand when judgment begins. The way of the wicked is destroyed. If Adonai builds the house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. The nations rage and the peoples flock together. Kings of the earth take counsel together, united to cast off Messiah. If Adonai builds the house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. Heaven laughs and his voice rings. On the holy hill is Messiah King. Kiss the Son and take refuge in him. If Adonai builds the house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. You are my son, I'll give you the nations, the ends of the earth as your possession. The rebel you'll break as clay shard. If Adonai builds the house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. If Adonai builds the house and he watches over the city, only then do your long hours matter. Craftsmen and the watchers together, his word only will stand. If Adonai builds the house.
Good. So let me ask you, how did you come to like compose the music and the rest of the lyrics? Like you start with the 3 like pieces of text that you want to work with that inspire you. Then from there you make it into a whole song. How was that done?
I have been listening to music since I've been 5 years old. I have listened to Broadway, I have listened to classical, I love Tchaikovsky, I love Rimsky-Korsakov, I love all sorts of stuff like that. I had a period of time where I was listening to a lot of jazz in my teenage years.
You must love this station.
And yeah.
We got all this stuff here.
Yeah, and just
sister.
over a period of time, I just ended up listening to all this stuff. And so I'm not sure if this is helpful, but essentially the text sings to me.
I would imagine that it would at this point. Yeah,
and so I just look at the text, and some of it's kind of like I can feel the cadence, I can feel the rhythm, I can feel kind of what's supposed to go on. And, you know, our engineer said it sounds like gospel Beach Boys, and this track really does. But I've got stuff on this that sounds like country rock, I've got stuff that sounds like ballad stuff on it. The next one we're going to end up doing is going to be more of a rock thing with a bit more forward guitar stuff.
So let me ask you. So like you're reading the text, which is the Bible, and like you see the lines, and like, do you hear the genre too? Like, you know, did you?
No, the genre ends up being part. I get the melody and the rough tempo on it.
Okay.
Then I end up making demos with it. Then I bring it to musicians, and it's kind of like a chef putting a dinner together.
Yeah.
Because you bring in. You heard the synthesizer player, you heard the guitars and the different pieces of it, and it all kinds of comes together, and you go for people who have proclivities and tendencies in terms of how they add to it.
Oh, right.
And then Bob Acquaviva, of course, being the producer, has a hand in putting it together as well. But it's a very collaborative nature, and I really love working with other artists and other musicians and going, what do you got? What do you got? What's going on around us?
Yeah.
And so that's
they're like osmosis that, you know.
So what ends up happening is on a certain level, it becomes a delight for it to come into being. Okay.
Right. Well, we are going to hear more of your songs. I don't think we have time for the second one. Right. Well, why don't we go into a second song, and then we'll go right from that to break.
So shall it be.
So shall it be.
was dead, now forever alive. Holding the key of death and hell, forever the King of Israel. So shall it be. Look, he is coming with the clouds. Every eye will see him. All peoples on earth will mourn for him, even those who pierced him. So shall it be. So shall it be. So shall it be.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Ron Klopfanstein and you're in the hot seat on a Medium Monday. On the next Hot Seat Medium Monday, we joined by producer of Magic Visions and comedian Jay Watch. Sue Latera from the United Way will be by to tell about their new podcast, and Pete Coulter is going to drop in to talk about his new book. And we'll be at the ribbon cutting for the Utica Creative Reuse. That's all coming up Monday, January 26th on Hot Seat Medium Monday on 95.5 FM The Heat. The Humane Society of Rome has some exciting plans for 2026. Photojournalist and AI content producer Jim Hale and I were there, and we have this report. I'm Ron Klopfanstein at the Humane Society in Rome, where they have exciting plans for 2026. I'm with Lynn Rosen. She's the president of the board of directors at Rome Humane Society. And after 25 years of trying to find a place to have a new location, you guys have decided to have the groundbreaking right here in your location now. So what is the new building going to be like?
Well, it's certainly, first of all, it's going to be 20,000 square feet.
Wow.
It will be state of the art. And with the new state regulations taking place in the next year, we'll definitely be compliant. I believe our timing was perfect because if we would have built 5 or 6 years ago, even 10 years ago, we would have been renovating to meet the standards. So the fact that when all the new standards came out, it was ready for us to break ground.
It's been a project in the making. I know there's been a lot of time and effort put into this and a lot of changes, but we're finally here. We're going to be doing a groundbreaking, and next year we're going to have a brand new Humane Society, a 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art building, which there's some pictures and drawings back there for everyone to look at. And it's going to be right next door over here. So I think it's going to accommodate a lot more animals. It's going to be good for the community, and Lynn and her team deserve a lot of credit for the time and energy they put into this project.
Well, compliments to Lynn, the board, and all the volunteers here. It's been 6 mayors, Lynn, since when I was here and we began to talk about the project and the need. And you guys persevered and worked really hard and all for a great cause, because I'm a dog lover too, and to take care of all of our animals is so important. And think of the quality of care that's given here and the passion and real dedication. That's what always amazed me. So congratulations for all that hard work and effort. It paid off. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing this new facility.
So how long have you been involved with the Humane Society?
I've been involved about 35 years or more.
Wow, yeah. 35 years. So why commit so much of yourself to these animals and to this cause?
It's my passion. I love these animals. I just love the Humane Society, and
What does it
just why
do
I'm
for
here.
you? What does it do for people? You know, you see people come in here to adopt a pet, and when they do adopt a pet, you know, it obviously changes the pet's life, but it also, I think, changes their life too.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably see that over and over again, the effect it has on people, individuals, and families. What is that like for someone when they adopt a pet?
You know, pets give you unconditional love. And there is nothing more than you walk into that home and you have a cat or a dog greeting you. Especially it's wonderful to have children grow up with pets and learn about how to care for them, humane education. It's rewarding for us. We care for them, we love them here, but it's most important when they find their forever home.
Yeah.
And that's what we look for, to make sure that they have the right home.
I know some new tricks, said the Cat in the Hat. A lot of good tricks.
I'm here with Katie and with Pork Chop. And Katie, I think both you and Pork Chop would say you're happy customers of the Humane Society of Rome.
Absolutely. I love this dog. He's great.
And you adopted him on a very special day, right?
And I adopted him on National Adopt a Shelter Pet Day on April 30th.
I love that. And why adopt a shelter pet?
It seems it's a lot more work to adopt a shelter pet. When you first bring them home, they need time to decompress.
Yeah.
They need patience. We need patience for them. But they have a different appreciation for you, and they bring a different value to your family, and you have a different bond with them than what you do if you go and get a dog from a breeder.
And you were saying too that like in bringing Pork Chop home into your family, the benefits for the other dog in your family too.
Yes.
It's good for dogs to have other dogs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he had a sister that passed away just before Christmas, and we just adopted a dog a week ago.
You did? Another dog?
For him to play
here?
with, to keep him going now, so.
I think one thing that it says, I think something that really speaks to the quality of the shelter here is like, Pork Chop is obviously very well adjusted.
Yeah, and it says a lot that my dog gets excited when I say, you want to go see Aaron at the Humane Society, to come back here and be this happy about it.
I was going to say,
it's a great experience for them
as we were walking in here, you know, I was surprised to see a dog who was happy to come back to the Humane Society for this photo shoot, but he's happy to be here. And I think that says a lot too. So I made a new friend here. This is Venus, and Venus came to the Humane Society during a snowstorm with her sister who was adopted. But Venus is available for adoption. What is Venus like?
Venus, she is just super sweet. She just wants someone to love on her all day long. She loves to give hugs. She walks absolutely phenomenal on the leash.
That's important, I would say.
Yes, especially for her breed and her just naturally always looking for us, looking for direction. She's really good about that.
Now, is she good with kids?
Yes, so we actually have done meet and greets with kids.
Wow.
She did really good, very gentle with them, taking the treats, very gentle.
And she's available for adoption?
Yep, she is available for adoption.
How would that work? Like if someone were interested in coming to meet her, maybe talk to you guys about possibly adopting her, what would the process be like?
So what we say is you can either come down, we do just drop-in appointments as well as calling us. Sometimes calling us actually is better in case we have a lot of people come in. We can set up an appointment. But you come in, you'll meet with myself or Archer. We will show you her, we'll love on her, bring her out here, let you take her for a walk and just kind of enjoy time with her. Then we have a very short application process after that. Oh yeah.
You're on TV. You're on TV.
And then all of our adoptions include them being spayed and neutered, microchipped, up to date on all of their vaccines, up to date on all of their vaccines, dewormed and flea treated.
My new friend Thumper and a bunch of other cats and dogs and kittens and puppies are available for adoption at the Rome Humane Society. Check out their website to meet them and find out how. If you're looking for a new pet or just want to hang out with some nice furry friends, the Humane Society of Rome is open from Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. At the Rome Humane Society, I'm Ron Klopfanstein for 95.5 FM, The Heat. That story right now on my YouTube channel, Facebook page, other social media accounts. Tonight's episode of Hot Seat Media Monday on 95.5 FM The Heat, online Wednesday at uticaphoenix.net/Media Monday. We're still joined in the studio now by Ravin Wormwood from Overzealous magazine and Rabbi Stephen Guiley from the upper room. And Ravin, I want to give you a chance to tell me about your other issues of the zine. We've talked about your fashion coverage here, but like what other topics do you cover?
Sure. So right now we have 5 different issues out. That's, I believe, our 4th.
That's number 4. Yep.
Yep. So originally it was supposed to be themed after different superheroes and different characters in the media, but tying them into real world issues.
Yeah.
And now it's become more of anything I want it to be. So we have a Wonder Woman issue that's about feminism.
Oh, interesting.
We have a Batman zine that's all about surviving capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But our most recent one that we came out with in June of last year is our Pride edition, which is our biggest
I'm surprised
edition.
I missed that one. So where can people get these?
So right now you can get them at the Alchemist in New Hartford or at the Tremontaine Cafe on Lincoln Avenue.
Oh, 2 places I really like here at this
Absolutely.
station. Yeah,
Very
our
big
friends at
fans
the
of both.
Alchemist. And of course the tram is always amazing.
Love the
stuff,
tram.
You know? How do you so what did you do with the Pride issue?
So with the Pride issue, I really wanted it to be completely uncensored. I wanted to showcase a lot of different poetry and a lot of different artwork and activism work from different people, not just in the area, even though they were the priority, but of people all over.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
there's a lot of different stuff.
What is your actual process to produce this? Like when I made zines in the 90s, I would literally cut them out and tape them to a page and I'd put them in the copier. So what is your process? This is color, this is laid out. It's a much more like a little bit fancier than the stuff that I did.
I go a little bit overboard with it.
Well, they're amazing. I mean, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So.
And they still have that like they still have that like vibe of like they're like kind of like raw, like they should be. So, but what is your process?
So I usually start with an outline of all the things that I want to cover topic-wise, and then I make a lot of art for it. I draw it digitally or I paint it directly and then take photographs of it. And I just put it together in Procreate, honestly, and I just...
Procreate, that's what I was wondering, like what you use, people use, different stuff. And then how do you publish them? Or print them?
I go through a couple different printers. There's a site called Cat Print. They actually donate to different cat shelters for everything that you order through. Wow. And the other one is A to Z Media, which I believe is based in Brooklyn, New York. And I just go through different printers depending on what each issue needs.
Yeah. Steve, let me ask you, like, what's inspiring you right now about music that you work on?
It is community, and it's the community that's here in Utica.
This is what we're all about here,
and
95.5.
This past year we had actually built a hang space for musicians that we got done just in time to be shut down for COVID.
Oh, no.
Okay, so timing was impeccable. During COVID, we ended up having a couple of concerts and things that we did that we live streamed on YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
But in 2024, we started to end up doing some live events in a coffee house kind of space on the 2nd floor on Franklin Square of the building that's right next to Need to Eat Bakery.
Yeah, we see it right downtown. Yep.
So we're right downtown, and so
So how does that work? Can people like go at a certain hours or membership or?
In 2025, what happened was 1 concert a month from April through October. Okay, and we had musicians come in from Connecticut, we had musicians come in from Buffalo, we've got a great band from the North Country called Undefeated that comes in from Lowville, we had the Mark Bolos band, we had Stranger Than Fate, which is a local band, we had Steve Zaccaroli, we had the incomparable Chris Wood, we had all sorts of other folks that came through, and we were able to share. And so what we do is we have Utica's Upper Room. You look for that on YouTube, you'll find our channel, you'll see some of the stuff.
It's on Facebook too?
No, it's on YouTube.
It's on
okay.
YouTube.
And the reason that we went with YouTube was because with Facebook you need to have an account,
but
YouTube is open to everybody, and nobody has to have an account. Just Utica's Upper Room. You find us there,
Is
and
it
then
on Instagram? If not, then I take the wrong person. That's all I'm
Dinosaur. Sorry about that.
Okay.
You know,
like how can people get more information? Like,
you go to the channel, and what we are committed
to the YouTube channel.
To the YouTube channel, and so we have clips of commercials for the things that are upcoming.
Okay, good.
So we have 1 minute commercials that are on the YouTube channel,
Great.
and then we will take clips out of the concerts where we'll either take a song, or like we did during the lockdown, we ended up having entire concerts that we just live streamed, and they were hour-long videos, you know, kind of like Austin City Limits or something like that. So,
you know, COVID was a creative time in many ways. You know, it's like it forced people, I think, to like be more technological, which is always good, to do more Zoom stuff. And I think it like showed people a lot of times like something's a lot more efficient like that, you know, than always to meet in person. And, you know, I mean, concerts are good in person, obviously, and personal contact and reading a magazine, holding it in your hand. But like, I think we learned a lot about like how to be creative and to be content creators ourselves during COVID.
I was an audio production guy, and COVID forced me into video. Okay, and so I see the video cameras here, and it's kind of like, I use DaVinci Resolve. What do you guys edit in? You know, and so we've got a whole lot of technology, and ended up picking up some fairly inexpensive Panasonic cameras that shoot broadcast quality 4K, and we just have had a wonderful time doing this and being of service to the artists of the area, and encouraging people into, you know, jumping into technology and making things that people can access and get to.
Has it made you like look at the Bible or look at your work more visually?
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. People don't know why Jesus came in the first century. You know what the technology was that made it possible for people to tell other people about Jesus in the first century? Was the Roman road. Okay, the Roman road was the internet of the first century. Okay, because before that you couldn't travel. Okay, and then what ends up happening is with the Gutenberg press in the 15 and 1600s, you have the printing, which Ravin is doing such a great job using. Okay, you know, and then we have had technology like radio and television and the internet, and it's just. The technology always shapes our ability to share, our ability to be creative, our ability to go places we haven't gone before. So I am a total fan when it comes to technology.
I'm happy to hear that. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about like, it's exciting.
About technology?
Yeah. All the stuff we can do, you know, like it's like every day there's a new thing that we can do. And like I use ChatGPT a lot to like give me advice and guidance and to help me write, and it's amazing.
It's thrilling, but at the same time, it's also very scary. What it could do, and I think that not to be a negative Nancy, but I think that it's in some ways it's posed a barrier to a human connection lately.
Well, I mean, there's like so much so fast that's hard to kind of deal with. It changes. Like, you know, the printing press came along, and then took a few centuries to get used to that. You know, and then like then you know we had radio, then took like a few decades, and TV. But now it's like one thing after another. You know, but it is exhilarating too, though. Yeah. So one more time, where can you find Overzealous, the zine?
You could find it at Tremontaine Cafe on Lincoln Ave, and at The Alchemist in New Hartford, as well as on Instagram at Overzealous Magazine, all one word.
I will be sure to take that one this time. In the Upper Room, you can find it on YouTube, right?
On YouTube, Utica's Upper Room. You search that on YouTube, we'll come right up, and you'll see what we've done in the past, and you will be in a place to find out what we're going to be revealing for our concert series this year.
Yeah, and I will untag whatever other Upper Room I tagged in my post about the show, but that's really good to know. So you can we've been hanging out today with Ravin Wormwood, publisher of the zine Overzealous, and musician Rabbi Stephen Guiley from the Upper Room. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We appreciate you spending part of your Monday night with us. Our sound engineer is Jonathan Brooks. He's DJ Jay Easy. He's up next with the Easy Ride Home. Jim Hale records the show for YouTube and podcast. He's also our AI content producer. Stefan Rubitsky, Nabil Khan, and Lily Christopher are our associate producers. I'm your host, Ron Klopfanstein. I'll be back next week with another hot seat. We also have a new intern here. I didn't introduce him for those in the corner here. He's not in the script, so I forgot all about this. But I'm sure you guys will get to meet him more as we do videos and stuff. But you're in the hot seat on a Media Monday. I'll be back next week with another hot seat, Media Monday. This is Ron Klopfanstein. Meet me in the hot seat every Monday at 5 p.m. for Hot Seat Media Mondays on 95.5 FM, The Heat.